said that reading makes you more empathetic. It's a way to escape your own life. It can take you to faraway lands. It can also put you into other people's shoes. Reading also keeps you healthy, reduces stress, and can inspire you. In today's show, we're going to be introducing you to Karissa Wheeler, and we're going to be talking about her children's book called Reveal of the Royal Puppy. Don't go away. We'll be right back with the Writer's Corner live show. If you have just joined us, you are watching the Writer's Corner live show. I'm your host, Bridgetti Lim Banda from Cape Town in South Africa, and our stream is made possible by Creative Edge, StreamYard, and BeLive Media. A special warm welcome to our audience, whether you're watching us on Facebook, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, over on Amazon Live, or over on Twitter. A huge, big welcome to you. I have seen Thornton Klein, who's been on the show several times. I want to give him a shout out and say a special warm welcome, and also a special shout out to my amazing co-host, Mary Elizabeth Jackson. She's also watching from home and unable to join us today. I think this is one of those rare moments where she's not been on the show with me, and she's dearly missed. Today we're going to be talking to Karissa Wheeler about her children's book called Reveal of the Royal Puppy. So again, if this is your first time watching the show, Mary and I have been doing the Writer's Corner live show for almost 3.5 years, I think, and we've interviewed numerous authors, from New York Times bestselling authors to first-time authors, and we have fun all round regardless. So before I bring on my amazing guest, Karissa Wheeler, she is a professional actor, a singer, a dancer, now an author, and she's also an arts educator and passionate about storytelling. And that is what this is all about. Being an author is about storytelling. And I think we're actually going to be meeting her amazing dog, who is part of the story. So shall we invite Karissa to come and join us? Karissa, a very warm welcome. Great to have you here. And I am so happy that we've got the star of the book joining us. That is amazing.
He is here. Thank you for that warm welcome. We're so honored and excited to be here. And this is Chai Rose. She is the star of
I'm going
Reveal.
to put you onto full screen for a second. She is absolutely gorgeous. Oh my goodness, how old is she?
She's one.
Oh man, she's happy. She's just absolutely too cute. Oh my goodness. Wow, wow, wow. Well, thank you for bringing her onto the show so we can get to meet her. I'm just going to assume right out of the gate. I mean, the book is centered around her. How did you come up with the idea to want to write a book about her?
Yes. So that's a question that I get a lot. And so when 2020 happened, I was living in New York City. I had graduated from college in 2019 and had moved directly to New York, and I was there furthering my education, doing post-grad work at an acting studio there. And when the pandemic hit, it was everything, all of my plans changed and everything was uprooted. And so I actually ended up coming back to Nashville. And I was born and raised in Nashville. And that's also, I think Thornton and Mary Jackson also, that's how we are all connected. And I'm connected through Thornton. So anyway, I came back to Nashville and was here and didn't really have anything going on. And so I actually went through a really kind of low point with mental health, and it was a very hard time. And I started seeing a counselor and just working through a lot from that uprooting that I had experienced. And a lot of people experienced that during 2020. Yeah. So I remember I was in a session and was talking through everything that had happened. And my counselor said, I think you should channel all of this energy, this artistic energy that you have that you're not getting to use in a different way. And I'd always loved writing, and I'd always loved children. And so I think it was a God thing that this idea of a children's book was planted in my heart, and I was able to do that over the course of the pandemic as a project.
You know, you touch on something that is very real, very relevant, that a lot of people have opened up about, and that is the very real reality of the emotional challenges that have gone with the pandemic. And especially people like yourself that was in an industry that completely but shut down with the pandemic. You know, I'm in Cape Town in South Africa, and I recall when the pandemic first hit us, it was announced that, you know, we would go under lockdown for 2 weeks.
Wow.
You know, before we understood the whole, you know, impact. I don't think anyone really understood the impact at the time. And, you know, when they announced that we were going into lockdown for 2 weeks, you know, our initial thought was like, hey, hope, you know, this is fun. You know, we're going to hunker down for 2 weeks, you know, and I started, I had a show for women, and we thought, well, we'll document this 2 weeks, you know, because we thought that'll be a nice way. And we live, I think it was every single day for the 2 weeks, because this was a lot of fun. You know, this is something unusual that we've never done before. And oh my goodness. And then the 2 weeks got extended, and it got extended. And like 6 months down the line, this is not funny any longer.
Yep.
You know, because suddenly people were losing their jobs, people,
their lives,
their lives. People were found themselves cut off from friends and family, and especially if you were a single person that were living by yourself, it's no longer fun now, because now you were cut off from society and life and all kinds of things. So mental health challenges was a big thing, and I think your counselor was spot on helping you to challenge that energy that you now had, that you had no way of expressing. And I think writing's a beautiful thing. But now, how did you come up with using your dog for the story?
So I actually did not have Chai Rose when she gave me that advice. And I had been researching about emotional support animals and ESA, and Chai Rose is an ESA. And I actually was doing a ton of research. I have really bad allergies, and so I had to get a hypoallergenic dog. I knew that. And I really wanted one that was going to be a lap dog, a smaller dog. And so I was doing all of this research, and I came across this beautiful puppy. She was like 6 months old at the time that I found her on this website, and she was in Albany, Georgia. So it's a little bit of a drive from Nashville. And I remember getting on the phone and calling the lady who she was with, and she was talking about how sweet she was, and um, just her characteristics, and I fell in love. And so we actually drove down. My mom and her husband. We drove down to Albany, Georgia, and it was right after Christmas. And we picked Chai Rose up, and well, her name was not Chai Rose then, but we picked her up, and we came back to Nashville, and it's been the sweetest almost year with her.
And how did you decide on her name, Chai Rose?
Chai Rose. Well, much like Princess Charlotte in the book, chai tea, I am addicted to chai tea. So I had chai, and then roses. I love roses. They're my favorite flower. And so that inspired a lot of the book as well. But that's how Chai Rose came to be. Didn't you? Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And she's the cutest dog ever. So I wanted to ask you, reading through the book, it struck me that when you spoke of Chai Rose's mother and father, you is there any significance to that part of the story?
Sorry, Bridgetti, can you repeat yourself one more time? I think we were going in and out there.
Sure,
Thank you.
no problem. So when I read through the book, you referred to Chai Rose's parents in the past tense. Is there any significance to that?
So her story is an interesting one in and of itself. She was her dad was a Maltese, and he was a show dog, and did very well in the show world. And I'm not sure who had him at the time that I got her, but they were no longer with her. And her mom was also, she was a Yorkie, and her dad was a Maltese, but they were neither one with her any longer. And so she was it.
She was a little orphan and a perfect match for you.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Now, what age group did you write the book for? Because I notice it's even though it's about a little princess and her dog, it doesn't seem to be aimed at a very young age. So which age group were you aiming at?
Yeah, the majority of the kids, I think that I've picked up the book and fell in love, are preschool to like second grade maybe. But because it has so much of the human experience in it, like there's a big pull with empathy, and she has divorced parents, and so all of these topics, a lot of the topics that are in the book, can be geared toward older audiences as well. So when I was writing, I was writing with a lot of the emotional social learning things in my mind. So it would be able to be used in schools and in other venues as well.
I picked that up. So there's a lot of sort of socialization skills woven into the story in a very subtle manner, so that children who are struggling with these things through the story, it's relatable, I think, to a huge audience, because I think also during the pandemic, it's one of the unintended consequences has also been a lot of abuse amongst children, very, very sadly. A huge number of children have been abused. Even in South Africa, I mean, there was just a shocking amount of children between the ages of I think it was 11 and 13
Oh my
that
goodness.
became pregnant during the pandemic.
Mhm.
You know, I think it was 66 girls.
Oh my
The,
goodness.
you know, I mean, it's just shocking. Um, I may even have that figure incorrect, but be it as it may, children suffer hugely in the pandemic, and I think the skills that you talk about in the book would be very, very helpful to children of that age group. Tell us a little bit about your process of producing the book, finding a illustrator that you vibed with that could get the illustrations just the way you envisage them to be, because obviously things are completely different during the pandemic as opposed to not being in the pandemic, and marketing. So talk to us a little bit about how you went about finding your illustrator.
Yeah. So that's a special story to me too, because I just see God's hand through everything with this book. It's been crazy. But so my mom had a friend, Shirley Gold, who is also a children's book author. And she had written this children's book and had published it through the same company that I used. And she was kind of like a mentor for me through all of this process. And so when I started, I called her and I said, I have this idea and I don't really know what the next steps are. But what would you suggest? And so she walked me through her publishing process and just was such a light to me through all of that. And her nephew, Justin Stewart, who illustrated my book, had illustrated hers, and it was I saw the illustrations, and it was just they were beautiful and just vivid colors. And so I got in touch with him, and whoa, Tyros. We got in touch with him, and he was amazing, incredible. He was able to take this vision that I had of the kingdom of Nadell and really make it into this beautiful castle and with gardens and like everything that I had in mind. He was able to grasp, and we worked together, collaborated, and via email and via calls, because of course it's the pandemic. So it was just an awesome process. And when people pick up the book, they're like, these are beautiful illustrations. So thanks to him.
And so this Kingdom of Nadell, is that a real place or is that something you made up?
So Nadell is based on, I was inspired, of course, by my own life experiences. And so Nadell is Nashville, and Albania, where she comes from. She's an orphan in a pet orphanage in Albania. That's Albany, Georgia.
Oh, wow. Oh my goodness. So very, very interesting. Oh my word. And tell us a bit about your publishing journey. Because as opposed to publishing outside of the pandemic, you can organize to go to libraries, in-person readings, and that sort of thing. How did you do your book during the pandemic? How did you handle that? Did you get advice
Yeah.
from other people? How did you do that?
Yes. So, the first priority for me throughout this whole time has been safety and keeping Tyro safe, keeping myself safe, and anybody who were to be at an event safe. So when we did my book launch, thankfully COVID had a little bit of a break, and I'm gonna let Tyro sit right there. So COVID had a little bit of a break, and we were able to do my book launch in late May, in a beautiful space. And so I had invited a lot of people to that, and one of those people was my cousin Billy, and he invited Thornton, and so that's how I met Thornton. And Thornton has been such an encourager throughout this process, of once my book was published, and kind of like how to navigate next steps. And so we were able to do the book launch, and then I've done my alma mater. I went to Sewanee University of the South, and so while I was there, I had gone back up for a visit, and one of the local businesses sponsored an author event for me to do. And so I did that. It was all outside, and it was a great way to bring the book to the kids. And there's a school there, and so that was an awesome experience. And I'm hoping in these future months, COVID is ramping up a little bit again, but I'm hoping that maybe whether it's like more outside things, or outside with covering because it's really cold, but I'm hoping that those opportunities will still be able to happen.
Yeah, I can well imagine. I know they've come up with some innovative ideas all over the world, and for this, because we're in summer here in Cape Town, so what they've done is, or they've started organizing for certain roads in the main city to be closed down, so that restaurants can put seating out in the street outside.
Similar, yes.
Which is really nice. I mean, it's perfect for summer. I know it's a little bit difficult for you guys because it's cold now, but I've seen a lot of I've seen some restaurants put up very nice sort of pergolas and things, to close it off and shield people a bit from the weather. So it's
Right.
amazing how how innovative people are, and how they've pivoted with COVID to do things slightly differently.
Yes.
So it's been tough, but it's also opened up a lot of avenues and opportunities that we may not otherwise have explored. So it's not um, all bad.
Right.
And here you are, through your own sort of dark experience, you've been able to write a book so that it can help other people work through their emotions, which I think is fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I was just wondering, how are you connecting with schools? Because Mary and I were talking about this and said, I was wondering whether authors have hooked up with schools via video to do
Yeah.
readings to the classes, because now they've got, all the schools have got audiovisual equipment a lot more readily available than they did before, because even when classes return, there are always vulnerable children who are not able to be at school, and so they link into their class via technology anyway. So
Right.
I was thinking this could be another way for authors to reach out to schools,
That is so
um,
smart.
and read two classes,
Yeah.
just to keep yourself safe
Amazing.
and to keep children safe, but at the same time to still afford them the opportunity of being read to, because there's nothing like having the author read the book to you.
Right. Yes. No, that's a brilliant idea. My mom is a public school teacher, and
Oh, wow.
yeah, and I've actually been teaching this year at a acting. I've been teaching acting at a middle school. So um, yeah, it's definitely, I would love to be able to do that in more schools, and that's really smart. I'll have to reach out to people.
And I really think that we also have an opportunity now to be able to, I mean, you could connect with a school anywhere in the world, literally.
Yeah, that's
It doesn't just have to be a school in Nashville. It could be a school
right.
anywhere. It's just opportunity to sort of connect worldwide. It's the same with business. I often say to people, we're no longer restricted to doing business in a local area. We can now do business wherever the internet is available. And similarly for authors, you can now reach audiences wherever the internet is. And there's very few places that don't have access to the internet these days.
True.
Are
That
you
is very
planning to write some more, Karissa?
Yes. So this is actually a part of a series. I wanted to publish the first one as a standalone, just to get it out there and to start that process. But it is a series. Manuscripts are in the works, and super excited for the possibilities of that. And Chai Rose has just been such a big blessing to me, and I think all of these morals and the stories that the books are telling will be really helpful to other people too.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. How's acting been? Is it making a comeback slowly, or has this new wave kind of interrupted it again?
It stage. I just finished a Christmas contract, and it was awesome, and we got through that safely. And I have been on some sets since the pandemic has happened, and that they were all safe, and I was healthy throughout all of that. But I do know that some of the other like Broadway, some shows are shutting down again, and I'm not really sure what the future is going to look like with all of that.
Yeah, well, it's very difficult, and I think, well, at least that's not a challenge that only you have. And I want to also just, in addition to giving a shout out to Thornton and Mary, also just a huge big shout out to Carlos Finnick in the comments there. Great to see you. That's a problem all over the world, and the one thing that I've really liked is that how you become godless of where we live, because we can all relate, to similar circumstances. Even you talking about, your emotional turmoil, that's something people experience around the globe. It's been true.
Right.
It's a global issue. Um, Carlos is saying, no, this is Thornton saying, you're doing great, awesome interview, and thank you for the shout out. You're very welcome, Thornton. Thornton is just an awesome person. I love his work, and oh my goodness. And I'm
Yes.
so glad that he's introduced you so that we could have you on the show. That is
Yes. Me
phenomenal.
too. I'm very
Oh
grateful.
my goodness. So have you started writing on the next book yet? Or is that in the works for next year?
So I actually, when I was doing the first one, I went ahead and got all of those manuscripts together. So they all have beginning, middle, and end to them right now. But I need to go back and edit. So we're in the editing process with that before the next steps.
Fantastic. And I've one more question for you. How did you manage to get how you envisioned the look and feel for your book
Mm-hmm.
to your illustrator? Because you have an image in your head of how you'd like things to look, and how did you communicate that to your illustrator?
Yeah. So Justin, he was awesome. We would have conversations, and he would send me a draft of something, and then I would tweak it. I would not. I'm not an artist that can do things with my like. I'm not artistic in that way, but um, it was awesome because I would send him these long paragraphs of, okay, like I want this. So Chai Rose's ears, more like a Maltese, or things like that. And so he would take them, and then he would send drafts back to me, and then it would go back, and then we would just kind of do a back and forth. And until the vision that I had, that I couldn't even verbalize sometimes. It was just like what I had in mind, but he was awesome at really being able to grasp what I was saying, even if it didn't make sense all the time.
Well, it sounds like it was a wonderful collaborative experience because he sure hit the mark. It's a beautiful book. The cover is brilliant. The illustrations, along with the storyline, are absolutely fantastic. So well done, congratulations, and I hope that your book is going to do really, really well. And we'd love to have you back on the show when you're ready with your next book.
I would love it. Thank you so much.
Th- Thank you so much, Karissa, and also thank you for introducing Chai Roaster. She's gorgeous. She hasn't barked once. She hasn't made a noise. She's been so quiet. Oh my goodness. She's
Girl.
been brilliant. I'm going to put you on the full screen one more time so she can say goodbye to everyone.
Say bye. Say bye.
She, she is just absolutely, absolutely gorgeous. Oh my word.
You.
She is totally, totally delightful. So thank you very much. And to our audience out there, a huge big thank you to you for joining us today. Again, thank you to Carlos, thank you to Thornton, to Mary, who've joined us. It was wonderful having you here. Take care, everyone. We'll see you back again next week on another episode of the Writer's Corner live show. Stay safe, everyone.